All right, so I want to tell you how you can get in shape in an easy way, in a simple way, and with little to no cost. Now, most of my fitness results, and this is no joke, have been in spite of gym membership. So I haven't really had I've never paid for a gym membership until about a month ago. And while I did have a gym access in the past, so this is like pre July 2021 from my job, I could have gotten most of my results without having that gym access. Why? Because most of what I was doing was calisthenics and running and sprinting. Okay. Now, a lot of what I've done will be even considered boring, but I want to tell you something. Now, this is my personal opinion. I'm not opposed to different um, approaches, but a lot of what I've done has been considered boring. But one thing I want you to understand is this: if your goal is to get in shape, I'm talking about, you have good cardiovascular fitness, you're strong, you're lean, you're sculpted, all of these types of things. If that is your goal, the most important thing for you to do is find a way to get there, a healthy way to get there, and then get there. And so, what I'm going to share with you is based on what I've learned over my own health and fitness journey that has been easy, simple, and extremely cost effective as far as like getting in good shape. Okay. Now, again, feel free to do whatever is exciting to you. I think that being motivated and being excited about what you're doing is important. However, don't let something, because the truth is your motivation will not always be there. Motivation a lot of times gets you to the place, but then it's discipline that'll kind of like get you going and consistent so that you can actually get the results. Okay. It's not always fun, but you have to create a habit out of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to spell out for you basically like a simple, easy, and cost-effective way for you to get in shape based on what I've learned from my own personal experience. Okay, check this out. So, when I approach exercise in particular, the first thing that I consider is the fact that I need to be training my whole body. Now, we're talking calisthenics here. We're talking about very accessible exercises that you can do in your home starting today. These are basically the things that I started with. And so you have to work your, hold on a second, I don't want the color red. You have to work your pushing muscles. So that's like your chest, shoulders, triceps. You have to work your pulling muscles. So that's your back. It's going to be rear shoulders or rear delts, and then your biceps. And then just very generally, you need to work your legs. Okay. And then also, you need to work your abs too. However, what typically happens is, especially when you're doing calisthenics, your abs tend to already be incorporated with, a lot of movements because they're stabilizing your body. Now, if you're wanting to really, really sculpt your abs and you've already gotten pretty lean and whatnot, then doing very careful attention to abs is something you want to do. But I, for most part, until recently, haven't really directly trained abs a lot because they get work just fine with a lot of pushing and pulling movements in particular, and even leg movements depending on what you're doing. Okay, so that's the thing. So these are the exercises that I started with. I'm going to erase this so we can have some space here. keeping these groups in mind. So I started with push-ups. I started with chin-ups, and I started with other so actually let me go and put the variations here. Push-ups and dips. Okay, I'm not sure why that went sloppy on me like that. Chin-ups and pull-ups. And then for my legs, squats and sprints. Now, I'm going to make this real easy for you. Now, I do know that there may be those of you who aren't able to start with just straight up push-ups on the ground. And, just keep in mind, and you may not be able to do any dips at all. Dips, it took me a while to really get good at those because those are quite tough. But just remember, you can do push-ups on the table. Oops, sorry. I'm just going to have to let that stick because I can't just, you know. And chin-ups and pull-ups. Now, keep in mind that with these, you can do rows, um, inside of a door frame. And I'll link to a video where I'm doing threshold rows, um, or under a table. Okay. And then squats and sprints. Those are pretty self-explanatory. I say hill sprints because hill sprints are actually less hill sprints are less impact on your knees. Okay. Now, this is what I would do if I were you, if I were just getting started, especially if you are thinking or feeling like you don't really have time. There's a study that I referenced in a video some months ago that was talking about how you can optimize your health by moving 5 minutes every 30 minutes, every half hour. Now, whether you're able to do it that frequently or maybe every hour, choose one of those. So I say, just to make it easy, every hour, I want you to do one set of push ups. We're going to keep it simple, rows of some kind, and squats. I would encourage you to do hill sprints necessarily until you have some sort of block of time. Say once a week, do hill sprints for 10 minutes. Hill sprints, you're sprinting up the hill and walking down the hill. Sprint is however fast you can go. Okay. But I will say the first maybe 5 hills, you want to maybe take it easy to warm up. So every hour, you're going to go somewhere, whether it's at work or home, and you're going to do a set of push ups. Then you're going to do a set of rows, okay? And you can do them in the threshold of your door where you're literally holding the inside of your door, standing inside your door, let yourself back, and just pull in, okay? Now you can do like a set. I would encourage you to do a set until you feel a burn, okay? And then you do the same thing with squats, however deep you can go without feeling any pain. Do that. Then once a week, you're gonna go find a hill somewhere, and you're gonna do hill sprints, okay? Now, every week, you want to add reps. So what I mean is, say for example, to get a decent burn for push-ups, you were doing like 20. Okay. The next week you're gonna do 21. If you're doing rows and you can get to 20, you do 21 of those. If you're doing squats, you add a rep to however many squats you're doing the next week. The following week, add another rep. The following week, add another rep. Now, keep in mind, you're doing you're doing this every day. So what the every hour part you're doing every day, and then of course once a week you're doing hill sprints. Now, this is not that much. At least not in one pop. It's not like an extended exercise session. However, the key is that you keep on coming back and doing these, and you're doing it in small enough blocks of time where there's really no excuse for you to not be able to do this. Okay? Do this consistently without fail. And I will also say, I haven't talked about the diet part of this, and I'll give you a couple of quick and easy tips, but I really want to emphasize the exercise part. Now, this should not cost you anything the way I have displayed it. If you are one who is able to do at least, I'll say, two good chin ups or two good pull ups, then you might want to invest in like a doorway pull up bar. And so I actually have one. I got it so long ago. It's made by Gold's Gym. I don't think they make those anymore, but I think you can find one on Amazon for 20, 30 bucks. Okay. Now, Um, the pull-up bar really is the only thing that'll really cost you anything. Everything else doesn't really cost you anything. Okay? It's important that you do this consistently, without fail. What happens is this becomes your lifestyle. It becomes what you do. And once something becomes what you do, that's when you get results. Trust me. This is kind of like a version of what I've done more or less over the past 15 years. And it's how I've gotten, I've gained some size, I've gained a lot of strength and endurance. Um this has really been it. And even though I lift weights now, this is still a lot of what I do in some way, shape, or form. Now, let's pivot and give you a couple of quick tips on the eating side of things. Okay. Now, this is going to be very broad, very general, but I promise you, if you adhere to it, you will actually get some results. Because the thing is, the strength training and the sprints and whatnot are going to get you in good, going to build your strength. It's also going to get you in decent cardiovascular shape. But if you're wanting to see some of your results, then you're going to want to ensure that you eat in such a way that you can shed some fat. So these are just bare minimum things you need to do that aren't really going to cost you anything. So the first thing is stop eating after dark. And so that's going to be approximately 8 p.m. maybe or so. Obviously, that'll change with daylight savings time. But you want to stop doing that because one, that'll be a way for you to kind of reduce your calories if you're used to eating after 8. But then two, you want to let your body just work on digestion and whatnot. Because eating after dark apparently can affect your hormones and whatnot and make you less insulin sensitive. And that's obviously going to work against you if you're wanting to lose fat and also be healthy for that matter. So that's one thing. The second thing is drink only water. Depending on what you're used to drinking, that could seem pretty difficult, but drinks are definitely the way that we gain fat the easiest. Okay, so you really wanna make your drinks water. Now, I will if you drink coffee or whatever, especially if you just drink like 1 cup a day, then a cup of coffee with not too much sugar and real creamer, not coffee mate and all that kind of junk. That shouldn't really be of harm. But you don't want to be doing soda. You don't want to be doing fruit juice, even 100% fruit juice. You don't want to do sweet tea and energy drinks and all this kind of stuff. You don't want to do all that. You really want to be drinking only water, that kind of thing. Now, I'm not saying you can never drink soda and whatnot, but none of that stuff should ever be a regular part of our diet anyway for health reasons, but especially if you want to lose fat. Okay, so stop eating after dark, drink only water, and then the final thing I'll say is make non-starchy vegetables most of each meal. Okay. Now, why is that? Non-starchy vegetables are very nutrient dense. That means it's a lot of nutrients, and then they're very low calorie. So you get a lot of bang for your buck. You can eat a lot of non-starchy vegetables and not really be concerned about eating too many calories, eating too many carbohydrates and whatnot. Because again, if you're wanting to lose fat, you have to give your body a reason to tap into your own fat storage. And so if you consume a very high starch, high sugar diet, then your body is gonna do it's not gonna do anything with your fat storage. And not only that, it's gonna keep on adding fat because very likely you're eating more energy than you can expend. Okay. So making non-starchy vegetables at least half of each meal. So I'm talking about greens, broccoli, uh, you know, that's like salads and things like that. And then even some of the other stuff, you have, like green beans and you have uh, onions, tomatoes, garlic, a lot of those different type of things. Those are like your non-starchy vegetables, and you really want to major on those. If you want to lose fat, so you can give your body a chance to tap into its own fat storage. Okay, this is what I'm going to kind of like just kind of leave it at here because I want to give you a very broad framework that costs little to nothing to do. Now, is it the most exciting thing? No, but one thing that I've learned is that getting in shape is so important. It doesn't always have to be exciting to me. It just has to be something that I do. I have to incorporate it. I have to make it a part of my life. And like I say, for it to be exciting, it's cool to me, but it's not necessary because it's that important. Okay. Let me know if you what you think. If you have any questions about what I've said here, since I was pretty broad, or if you have questions about what I do a little further, put them in the comments. Um, yeah, have a good one. As we get older, it becomes increasingly important to maintain and build muscle. Muscle helps you burn fat, stay mobile, and can contribute to longevity. However, many people have no idea how to work out to build muscle. My mini workout series on Patreon provides you with my body weight mini workout video library. These workouts use little to no equipment, which means that you can do them in the privacy of your own home. They start at beginner level and progress from there to ensure you continue to see results. Every workout is a full body workout, hitting chest, back, legs, and glutes, as well as other muscles in between. Become a patron today and receive access to my series of mini workouts, plus access to a digital copy of my book, 8 Weeks to Transform Your Diet and Your Health. By combining the workouts with healthy diet changes, as outlined in my book, you'll definitely be on your way to weight loss, improved health, and visible results. Join me at patreon.com/SeanB2B Fitness today.